It measures the difference between a bullet's shock waves and its slower acoustic waves. Then it computes the shot's origin and announces it.
Incoming, 3 o'clock.
One way soldiers protect themselves during urban warfare is to use buildings as cover. But cover can become an obstacle to getting a clear shot at a target. But what if you could shoot around a corner without actually moving around the corner?
Jolly Rancher Bold Hard Candies. OLN, outrageous characters, real life.
Tactical, urban warfare tests skills in close quarters combat. Practical, urban warfare adventures give civilians a taste of its challenges. To give our troops an advantage in the confines of the urban environment, the Department of Defense is evaluating new technologies. This gun is called Corner Shot. It allows troops to see and shoot around corners using a built-in video camera.
There's nothing new about shooting around corners. The Germans in World War II had a weapon that was designed with basically a 90-degree bend in the barrel that gave them the same kind of capability.
An experimental MP-44 with a curved barrel allows German troops to shoot out of armored vehicles while staying hidden. But the bullets tend to fragment in the 90-degree barrel and the gun sees limited use.
Yeah.
Urban warfare. Soldiers use training and technology to save themselves and others. And civilian thrill seekers engage in mock battles to better understand the dangers facing our troops. Tactical, autonomous vehicles taking on dangerous battlefield missions.
If they're firing a lethal system at a robot, no one's lost.
Practical, autonomous vehicles. Smart machines will do the driving for us.
Intelligent, autonomous vehicles are going to transform our society.
The vehicles of the future will be autonomous, and some of them are already here. 2004. Robot engineers bring their vehicles to California to qualify for an historic race, the DARPA Grand Challenge. The sponsor, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, the research arm of the Defense Department. The challenge? To navigate nearly 150 miles of open desert in less than 10 hours with no driver. The prize? $1 million.
DARPA was looking for robotic technology, and we wanted to reach across America and reach across for the innovation.
The military is under pressure from Congress to make 1/3 of all combat vehicles autonomous, meaning without a human driver by 2015. They're taking the mandate seriously.
Clearly, autonomy is important for the military because it gives them so much more capability. Capability for increased survivability, capability for more lethality, capability to do missions that will not risk soldiers' lives.
The vehicles are programmed with a GPS path through the mile-long qualifying course, but they have to maneuver around the obstacles, parked cars, fences, and overpasses all on their own. The team to beat is Carnegie Mellon University's Red Team. Their $3.5 million diesel-powered Humvee, Sandstorm, may be the most souped-up car on the lot. Sandstorm has a 6.2-liter turbo diesel engine. Short-range laser rangefinders spot what's ahead up to 100 feet.
As Sandstorm is trucking across the desert, it's going to hit rocks and boulders and things, and those will make the wheels move a lot.
That's why the 8 computers are protected by a secondary suspension. They control a drive-by-wire system that sends commands to the brake and throttle. Inside the blue sphere are 2 stereo video cameras and a long-range scanning laser that maps terrain ahead 50 times a second.
One of the biggest difficulties for something like this is just the integration. We have some of the best sensors in the world, we have the best processing in the world, we have some of the best algorithms in the world, and getting them all so that they fit together and work is very hard.
Making autonomous vehicle sensors work together has been a challenge since the very beginning. 1966, autonomous vehicles trace their roots to a robot named Shaky, the first mobile robot to reason about its environment. Using a camera and sensors, Shaky can navigate around obstacles. He's a one-bot revolution. 1979, a robot dubbed the Stanford Cart takes autonomy into a new arena, the outdoors. The cart's 20-yard obstacle course takes 5 hours to navigate.
It was the first robot to combine sensors and software and go in the outdoors, the real-world environment.
1987. Robots begin to look and act like vehicles with the autonomous land vehicle, the first military vehicle that thinks for itself. It has cameras, sonar, and laser sensors, and the top speed, a blazing 2 miles per hour.
Since then, of course, we're now able to navigate through forests at speeds faster than people could run through the woods. So there's been a tremendous advance in the technology.
Today, there's a new generation of autonomous vehicles being developed for combat. This one might be the first to deploy, the Army's Mobile Detection Assessment Response System, or MDARS for short. It's an autonomous patrol vehicle that's taking over the tedious task of security detail, and it may be more vigilant than a human.
We'll be distracted, or we'll fall asleep. No, this does not sleep. It doesn't rest. It continues to do it. And when it does find something, it will capture that within the center of the screen and tell you, hey, something's going on out here. You need to pay attention.
MDARS is designed to protect a military base or homeland security target, patrolling a set route completely on its own. If its path is blocked along the way, it navigates around the problem. It's linked to sensors lying in wait for intruders. If they're tripped, MDARS is a critical early warning system.
Intruder, stop. Stop and be identified.
And with its infrared camera, MDARS can see at night. MDARS moves on a programmed path, but independent off-road navigation is still the final frontier for autonomous ground vehicles. The main problem? Obstacles. Robotic vehicles like Carnegie Mellon's Perceptor ATV need to decide for themselves if it's best to go around an obstacle or to just go over it. Today, a vehicle that can travel over land without human help is still an elusive dream, but some folks are sure having fun chasing it. Out of 85 entries, only 25 teams have made it to the qualifying rounds of the DARPA Grand Challenge. These civilians are hoping for the $1 million prize and a fat government contract. For DARPA, it's research and development on the cheap.
The artificial intelligence that we capture from that integration is going to be tremendous, and we're at the very beginning of that. So historically, when we look back 10, 15, 20 years from now, people are going to say, this event sparked that.
Team Logic kept it simple. They spent just $10,000 on their machine, buying parts off the shelf and online. So far, though, they haven't had any luck.
We smoked a couple motors a couple days ago, so we just got new motors yesterday and just finished mounting them today.
The blue team has one of the most ambitious entries, an autonomous motorcycle.
Motorcycles are faster, they're less expensive, they can go around obstacles, they're narrower, so you have to deal with less obstacles. So we thought, let's take on this project, which is incredibly complex, hope that in 5 years from now, we'll be able to drive the motorcycle as good or better than a human does.
Then there's number 20, TerraMax, a U.S. Marine Corps off-road combat vehicle. 16 tons of technology with 6 computers, GPS, laser rangefinders, sonar, radar, and digital video. It could be the perfect vehicle for an autonomous supply convoy on the road to Baghdad, except that TerraMax has yet to make a complete run. Today is the last day to qualify, and TerraMax will have to perform. 2 minutes into the run, there's already a problem. TerraMax balks at a 15-foot gap on the course.
Well, right now the vehicle seems like it's stuck there, but it appears like it's sensing that that gate is too narrow to go through it.
If TerraMax can't figure this out, it may be no-go for the race.
It's supposed to back up, go in reverse, back up, and find a path and go through, but I don't hear the reverse.
The vehicle is officially disqualified for this round.
We had issues otherwhere on the course that we fixed, and in the process we've obviously done something that is not allowing us to now go through this gate. So that's the problem you always have when you're working with software and you're changing code on the fly. You could always mess something up.
The team's been struggling all day to correct their code. Others breeze through the obstacle that could end the race for TECTVMARCH before it begins. Now it's the last run of the day and their last chance to qualify.
From Toronto, Montreal, New York, London, and more, we've got an inside look at all the events you can't afford to miss.
From the streets of San Francisco, we've got weekly comic updates, awesome developer interviews, tons of events, and of course myself, Jose Fubar Sanchez.
We meet again, Comic-Con Battlefield.
Here in LA, we have the entertainment scene covered with the biggest stars. Can you just tell me what all the buttons do?
Perfect. This is the Electric Playground.
I got it made. I got it made. Fresh as Subway. Subs made just the way I say. I got it made. I got it made. Fresh as Subway.
You've got it made with Subway Restaurant's Italian collection. Crank up the crunch with green peppers on the Italian BMT, have the chicken pizzola melt on our famous flatbread, or why not throw some tomatoes or black olives on that meatball pepperoni melt? Subway. Think fresh, eat fresh.
And tickets go on sale in 2, 1, bingo.
I'm on.
What?
Rogers LTE, it's the fastest.
Well, how many tickets are you gonna get?
Well, that depends. What's it worth to you?
He really loves that band.
Now get smartphone plans as low as $45 per month on all the hottest devices.
Take a seat and a good look ahead. Where are you going? How are you going to get there? The answer may surprise you, and so may the car. When you step on it, the 2013 Focus gets your full attention. And you don't pay the price at the pump. You'll hold any curve life throws at you and make a smooth transition when it's time to change gears. The 2013 Focus. Go further.
Jolly Rancher Bold Hard Candies. And crunchy outside, chewy inside, crunch and chews. Unsane fruit flavor. Jolly Rancher.
If you think all batteries are the same, consider this. When the unexpected happens, there's one brand of battery more emergency workers trust in their mag lights. Duracell. One reason? Duralock Power Preserve. It locks in power for up to 10 years in storage, guaranteed. So whether it's 10 years of life's sunny days or the occasional stormy one, trust goes a long way. Duracell with Duralock. Trusted everywhere.
Don't lose girls to dandruff. Use Axe Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Lose the flakes. Get to the girls.
If you have sensitive skin, try Mach 3 Sensitive. A closer shave in a single stroke. For less irritation, even on sensitive skin. Gillette Mach 3 Sensitive. Gillette, the best a man can get.
You've got enough money for one sub, but you're hungry for a massive meal. No problem. Taco Bell's Build Your Own Box Meal. 5 different items and 40 different combos for only $5. Problem solved? Thought so. Taco Bell.
The makers of Resident Evil trade zombies for dinosaurs in Dino Crisis. Originally released on the Sony PlayStation in 1999, this survival horror adventure still delivers the scares today. A world-renowned scientist has gone missing while doing research on a remote island, and the secret Operation Raid team has sent a team of agents to investigate. Players assume the role of Regina as she explores the facility, which is quickly found to not be as deserted as they originally thought. Dinosaurs are roaming the halls, and the mission quickly switches from rescue to survival. Featuring tense gameplay where terror can be just around the corner, players must conserve their ammo and use all survival skills at their disposal in order to make it out alive. Dino Crisis is a PS1 classic available for download on the PlayStation Network, and it's playable on the PS3 and PS Vita.
Autonomous vehicles, a military vision of convoys and patrols with no soldiers on board. Autonomous vehicles, civilian engineers competing for $1 million prize. It's the last day of the DARPA Grand Challenge qualifiers.
Oh! It's turning! Oh, yes!
The course here is easy compared to what the vehicles will face on race day. Unpredictable desert terrain. Many teams have qualified, but monster truck TECTVMARCH has been outsmarted by a 15-foot gap. Now it's their last chance, and TECTVMARCH must get through to qualify. This time, with barely a blink at the gap, TECTVMARCH is on its way to its first complete run, qualifying just under the wire. The fix? A software tweak.
What we had to do is we had to go in and make the truck think it was skinnier. So they thought it was too wide for that gap. So we had to go in and reduce the safety zones around the vehicle such that it made the truck think it was skinnier so it could shoot the gaps.
Here!
In 2 days, TECTVMARCH will be racing for history in the open desert. Our cars are the new backseat drivers. The automobile industry is already using the autonomous technologies to help our cars help us drive better and safer. Someday, truly autonomous vehicles on our roads and freeways may help eliminate traffic jams. I can't wait for that one. Can you imagine going 65 on the freeway while taking a nap? How about getting on a bus with no driver? Or letting your car park itself? It's not science fiction. These autonomous vehicles are already being tested on the road.
Autonomous vehicles today are where automobiles and airplanes were in 1904.
The California Path program is placing magnetic markers in highways to guide experimental cars, buses, and even trucks. Magnets every few feet tell the vehicle where it is on the road, while onboard sensors monitor distance to other vehicles. Platoons of autonomous cars can drive extremely close together, and these buses can even change lanes.
Autonomous vehicles are going to have an advantage over person-driven vehicles because autonomous vehicles will be able to operate in all weather and in all day-night conditions, whereas humans experience impaired vision in some fog conditions or lots of rain, lots of snow. The sensors on an autonomous vehicle will be able to go straight through that.
This same technology in semi-autonomous snowplows is helping their drivers keep winter roads clear in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Back at the DARPA Grand Challenge, it's race day. 15 autonomous vehicles make a brave attempt at the 142-mile course, but there are no winners. Some call it the race that never was. The red team goes furthest with a 7-mile run. But the race is over for Sandstorm when a wheel goes over an embankment and catches fire. TECTVMARCH comes in 5th with a respectable 1.2 miles. Many vehicles never make it out of the gate. DARPA plans to double the prize and hold the race again in another year.
I consider this event, the DARPA Grand Challenge, as Lindbergh Crossing in Atlantic. We're at the very beginning and the very cusp of integrating the technology.
The goal of a completely autonomous vehicle, tactical or practical, is still years away. But bit by bit, we're getting closer. Autonomous vehicles, the military's great hope to save lives in a war zone. Autonomous vehicles, cars that can drive themselves, making us safer on the road than ever before. Tactical, high-altitude rescue. Military teams save soldiers and civilians from steep peaks, icy cliffs, and avalanches.
I really need to stress here is we got 4 minutes to find this guy and get him out.
Practical, high-altitude rescue. Civilian teams face extreme danger, saving extreme adventurers.
Mother Nature has a whole new set of rules when you're talking about the mountains.
Organized mountain rescue teams in the U.S. date back to the 1920s. Since that time, the stories of civilian and military high-altitude rescue efforts have been entwined. The U.S. military is often called on to perform civilian rescues as part of their mission and training.
We're especially lucky because the military appreciate the value of civilian search and rescue because it provides better than training opportunities. It provides real, live, hands-on rescue opportunities for their people to learn in a training mode.
I'm in Smuggler's Notch in northern Vermont, home to vertical rock faces, ice waterfalls, and the occasional avalanche. It's here where the Army's Mountain Warfare School trains all branches of the service and federal and state agencies in mountaineering skills and rescue. When called into combat, Army rescue teams go behind enemy lines to rescue downed soldiers. In peacetime, they perform civilian rescues recovering victims from treacherous peaks. Climbing accidents often happen in remote places, and prompt medical treatment is critical. A successful save requires expertise in climbing, roping, and rappelling. This team is training for a common rescue scenario. A climber is trapped on the side of an ice wall with a broken leg. The winds are too high for a helicopter rescue, and he's quickly succumbing to exposure. My assignment? Carry the victim on my back and rappel down to get him off the mountain quickly. The troops attach splints and supports to stabilize him, and then hook him to my harness. The descent won't be easy. The slope is sheer vertical ice. A mistake could be fatal for both of us. This may be a drill, but our fate rests on a thin rope and the hope that the ice wall will hold. In just a few minutes, we're 50 feet down. We've made it. Once the victim is at a lower angle, he's transported to a horizontal litter called the Sked, a flexible stretcher invented by an Army medic named Bud Calkin. It's designed to be light and mobile for confined spaces and high angles. It's one of the tools designed to get the victim down as quickly as possible.
The human body doesn't want to be at altitude. At 14,000 feet, there's a third less oxygen than at sea level. We've got to move quickly because our bodies don't want to be there, and the subject's bodies are probably deteriorating as well.
High-altitude rescue in the U.S. has been around for quite a while. 1924. The Cragrats, one of America's first organized mountain rescue teams, is born on the slopes of Oregon's Mount Hood. As more civilian rescue groups spring up, the military takes notice, creating its own mountain rescue teams to prepare for battle in World War II. The use of the helicopter is the most notable advancement in rescue after World War II.
The helicopter is really unparalleled in its versatility when it comes to search and rescue. 50 years ago, when we didn't have helicopters for search and rescue operations, we lost many people that otherwise could have survived.
Both military and civilian rescue teams use a modified version of combat helicopters like the Black Hawk. They add a crucial element to mountain rescue: speed.
One of the many missions of the military is to provide search and rescue response for civilians. And in particular, their aviation resources are largely unmatched nationwide in terms of the numerous helicopters that we can use, from the Huey helicopter, the Chinook, the Black Hawk, the Pave Hawk, and so on.
We have you located.
One of the most effective techniques used in helicopter rescue is a procedure called the short haul. Rescuers are fixed to the end of a long line hooked under a helicopter, dropping them to steep accident sites where conventional approaches are too dangerous. Here in the Grand Tetons, the Jenny Lake Climbing Rangers have been saving hikers and mountaineers for over 50 years. In these sharp, steep peaks, the short haul is essential for successful rescue.
Patient is a 22-year-old male.
The patient is loaded onto the litter and airlifted 3,000 feet down to the valley, all in a matter of minutes. It's the same tactic used by the Army and Air Force pararescuemen to haul downed soldiers out of the jungles of Vietnam
There they go, baby.
and the rugged mountains of Afghanistan. The best helicopter pilots realize that even with cutting-edge technology, extreme altitude can be a brutal enemy.
Altitude is a real major problem for helicopters. The higher they get, the harder it is that they have to work to maintain a hover.
Mount Hood is one of the most popular peaks in the Northwest. Thousands climb it every year, but even a tranquil hike can turn tragic. May 2002, a group of hikers slip and fall into a crevasse while heading to the summit. As a civilian rescue team treats the victims at the accident site, an Air Force PAVOK arrives on the scene to get the victims off the mountain. But in mid-flight, the unthinkable happens. The helo payload is too heavy in the thin air, and it suddenly tumbles down the mountain. Remarkably, everyone aboard the helicopter survives.
Was probably the best example of a whole bunch of really good resources coming together between the volunteers, the military, civilians who happened to be on scene at that accident. And yet you can bring all the best resources together and still something can go tragically wrong. When people play in the backcountry, they need to be prepared to play by Mother Nature's rules.
A wilderness adventure is a spectacular experience. But while a ride like this is pure adrenaline, the backcountry is always filled with a hidden danger, one that can strike at any moment. If you're not prepared, these slopes can turn deadly.
Greasy foods like poutine mean greasy messes. So what's the better way to cut through everyday greasy messes?
It's Dawn. That's because Ultra Dawn has up to 2 times better everyday grease cutting power. Dawn, from the makers of Cascade.
Before we switched to Rogers for Business, browsing on my old phone was painful. And the cabinets are going to look great over here. Got a picture on the website. Still loading. Ah, here we... No. Now I have the new BlackBerry Z10 on Rogers LTE network. I can browse like never before, and my team can get the information they need faster.
Switch today. Talk to a certified BlackBerry small business specialist.
When news breaks, you have to be prepared to ask tough questions and get the truth. Unfortunately, my hair and all I do to make it broadcast ready can't take the heat. Good thing I uncovered Head & Shoulders Damage Rescue. It rescued my hair and my scalp.
Head & Shoulders Damage Rescue relieves dry scalp and washes away flakes while helping to repair damaged hair.
Now I use it every day because the camera never blinks. No worries from flakes or hair issues. The proof? See it tonight at 11.
Head & Shoulders Damage Rescue.
Don't lose girls to dandruff. Use Axe Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Lose the flakes. Get to the girls.
Take a seat and a good look ahead. Where are you going? How are you going to get there? The answer may surprise you, and so may the car. When you step on it, the 2013 Focus gets your full attention. And you don't pay the price at the pump. You'll hold any curve life throws at you and make a smooth transition when it's time to change gears. The 2013 Focus. Go further.
I got it made. I got it made. I got it made. Fresh as Subway. Subs made just the way I say. I got it made. I got it made. I got it made. Fresh as Subway.
You've got it made with Subway Restaurant's Italian collection. Crank up the crunch with green peppers on the Italian BMT, have the chicken pizziola melt on our famous flatbread, or why not throw some tomatoes or black olives on that meatball pepperoni melt? Subway. Think fresh, eat fresh.
If you think all batteries are the same, consider this. When the unexpected happens, there's one brand of battery more emergency workers trust in their mag lights. Duracell. One reason? Duralock Power Preserve. It locks in power for up to 10 years in storage, guaranteed. So whether it's 10 years of life's sunny days or the occasional stormy one, trust goes a long way. Duracell with Duralock. Trusted everywhere.
Have you seen FX Canada's hot new drama, The Americans?
This is crazy.
The star-studded spy thriller has already become Wednesday night's must-see TV.
We have no choice.
Post Media News says it's one of the most cerebral, tension-filled new drama series. And the New York Times raves it's subtle and complex, an engaging espionage thriller. The Americans, Wednesdays at 10 on FX Canada. Call your TV service provider to order. Not available on bill.
I'm skiing the backcountry of Utah. If you're going to be out here, you better have the right gear, the right guide, and a healthy respect for Mother Nature.
We got problems, boys. Big time problems.
Each year, avalanches claim more than 150 lives worldwide.
I was a part of an avalanche up here on Mount Rainier where 11 people were killed. This was devastating and very shocking to me and made me realize just how dangerous mountains can be.
Peter Whitaker is an experienced mountain guide in the Pacific Northwest. He's been through the best and worst the mountains can deliver. June 1981, on the steep face of Mount Rainier, he is guiding a group of 22 climbers when a cliff of ice breaks and engulfs the pack. Only 11 survive.
Watching 11 people get swept away to their death in front of you leaves an impression on you the rest of your life.
Getting caught in an avalanche is like trying to stand on a breaking wave. It violently tumbles you forward while trying to suck you under. The best chance of surviving an avalanche is a combination of technology and common sense. One of the most important pieces of gear you need before heading into the backcountry is a transceiver. Not only can it help people locate you, but you can also search for someone who's lost. But you need to be familiar with it. So that's why Ricky Newberry's here with the Professional Ski Patrol, and he's going to teach me how to find somebody.
It basically operates on electromagnetic field, sending out signals, so when someone's caught in an avalanche and buried, you can go into search and locate them under the snow.
Okay. Now you guys have set up a field behind us here, right?
We have.
And so there's a beacon that's buried and it allows people to train here?
Yes, there are numerous beacons that are buried and they're remote operated. So I've turned one on for you. You go into search and let's find that beacon.
Numbers are creeping down and my arrow's pointing me in the right direction.
You're right on top of it. As soon as you have your lowest number, then you want to go ahead and probe. And speed is of the essence.
Okay. At the base of the planted transceiver is a pad. Hit the pad with the probe and you found your lost buddy. At the Army's Mountain Warfare School in Vermont, soldiers also train to use their avalanche transceivers. But they don't use buried beacons. They learn the hard way. All right, so now how do we simulate avalanche training and rescue?
All right, well, what we've done here is we've got kind of an avalanche run-out zone here. We've got our probers ready. We've got our guys with our transceivers. And what I really need to stress here is we got 4 minutes to find this guy and get him out.
You ready to be buried?
I'm ready, let's go.
Here comes the hard part.
Using the transceiver, we home in on the signal. Time is critical. Imagine holding your breath with the weight, cold, and constriction of 4 feet of snow on you. Once we find the general area,
right down here, guys, right here.
We probe, find him, then dig.
How you doing there? I'm alive.
The ultimate avalanche protection gadget might be the Avalon. If you get caught in a slide, this device will actually allow you to breathe under the snow while you wait to be rescued.
Okay, stop shoveling.
The Avalon has been proven to work in both controlled simulations and actual use.
As long as you heard that valve fluttering of the Avalon, that felt pretty good. It's like, wow, I'm breathing, it's okay.
Safety equipment like the Avalon is effective, but probably the best protection against avalanches is to diffuse their power. I'm near Lake Tahoe at the Kirkwood Ski Resort, which is considered a Class A avalanche area. And in order to control all this snow, These guys need to break out the big guns. Fire away! Woo! During World War I, armies fighting in the Tyrolean mountains lost more men to avalanches than bullets. Soldiers launched explosives onto the slopes above enemy troops, triggering slides that killed more effectively than firepower.
Ironically, one of the first uses of explosives to detonate avalanches occurred during the World Wars, and what's interesting is that taught people an awful lot about how to control avalanche slopes for the betterment of mankind.
To prevent dangerous snow accumulation, the ski patrol at Kirkwood fires an old Army surplus gun, turned from a lethal weapon into a safety tool. This vintage 75mm recoilless rifle blasts away danger areas that would be next to impossible to clear out on skis. Once the artillery barrage is complete, individual ski patrollers get up on the mountain to clean up the remaining trouble spots. Fire in the hole! Military technology and training saves victims from the precipice, and civilians have new allies in the icy grip of the backcountry. Tactical urban warfare forces soldiers to make split-second life and death decisions. Practical urban warfare courses teach civilians the ins and outs of city combat. Tactical autonomous vehicles will patrol and protect to save lives during combat. Practical autonomous vehicles will make our roads safer by reducing human error. Tactical high-altitude rescue. Military teams rescue civilian climbers. Practical high-altitude rescue. Deadly weapons save lives on dangerous slopes. Tactical to practical. Technology moving from government deployment to everyone's enjoyment.